Hello gamers from around the world, this is Boxenberger, the video game enthusiast from Germany, and you guys don't know that, but we do the intro a second time, because the first time we thought we went live, I forgot to press the go live button, and we were talking for like 2 minutes already, until we realized, damn it, we are not live, so we had to do the beginning of the show all over again. But with that, I want to welcome everyone to this week's episode of the World of Gaming. We have a great week to return since we skipped last week, right? Gamescom week, exciting week, lots of games and stuff to talk about. I'm excited to do that with you guys. So again, a big welcome to everyone. And maybe some of our regular listeners noticed that we didn't have an intro popping up at the beginning. I don't know why, but for some reason over the last week or so, all of our videos got demonetized that used this intro. So there must be some change in the licensing of the intro music. I don't know why. We have used this intro for, I want to say, at least 3 years now or so. But for some reason we are getting demonetized because we use that. And I haven't had the time to do a new edited intro. I will be doing that eventually, but until then we will only have the starting soon thing and goes directly into the podcast. Anyway, again, a big welcome. Dutch, my man, how are you doing this week?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Just end of month and things like that at work. So
yeah.
Busy. But yeah, otherwise, all right. Yeah, fine.
Good. So again, we have lots to discuss this week with Gamescom happening. Unfortunately, both of us are not there. I got asked a lot where I am, why I'm not at Gamescom. The fact of the matter is that the state I live in here in Germany has very late summer holidays and my kids are on summer vacation, and that's why on Saturday we are going on our family vacation to Italy. That's also, by the way, the reason why we won't do a podcast next week. And I simply couldn't afford both. Doing Gamescom is very expensive.
Yeah.
And I had to make the choice whether to go with the kids to Italy or go to Gamescom, and family first. So that's why we're not at Gamescom. Nevertheless, sometimes it's even more exciting to watch those from the outside, those things, because you get to see all the news rather than when you are on site. You miss quite a few of the announcements and stuff. And so, yeah, I'm excited for that, and there were quite a few game announcements and game updates and a lot of interesting stuff. But before we get to all of that, Dutch, let's talk about the games that we are actually playing at the moment. And I want to know from our community as well what you guys have been playing lately. Dutch, what kept you busy?
Yeah. I'm still like doing when I've had the time. Like I said, I've been busy as well. I was in London over the weekend from Friday till Monday. And then, like I say, month end this week. So I haven't actually played anything so far this week. But the tail end of last week, I played a little bit of the Ally on the way down to London. But I just put Vampire Survivors on and just played a little bit of that. Just to pass some of the time instead of getting into a meaty game.
Okay.
Prior to that, again, just playing Elliot, Adventures of Elliot, and just chipping away little hour blocks here and there.
Sweet. So, I've actually finished that.
That's about it so far. I know you have.
Yeah.
Finished it before me.
Yeah. You convinced me to get it, and it was a great recommendation. I mean, the game is awesome, man. It looks like Octopath Traveler, right? And plays like Zelda.
Yeah.
So it's not a turn-based game. It's an action RPG, very light-hearted RPG. I mean, it's not a super deep game. None of the gameplay mechanics are very deep or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's a light-hearted game, but I really enjoyed it. It has some cool ideas with the 4 different times that you travel in between. Always share the same map, but in every time you are in, right, the map is a little different, yet familiar, and that's a very cool and unique approach. It got a little repetitive towards the end, I must say. I wish we would have a little bit more enemy variety.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was also not a super long game. Like, I did almost everything, including all side quests. And finished the game at around 16, 17 hours or so. So it's really not that of a super long game. But for any fans of Zelda out there, I can absolutely recommend that. It's a really good game.
Yeah, it is. Like you say, it's really easy to pick up. It isn't overly complex. In fact, it's the complete opposite of complex. It's super simple. You've got a variety of weapons that you steadily unlock over the intro part of the game.
Yeah.
I say intro part. It's maybe the first 7-8 hours of the game. You unlock all of the weapons.
Yeah.
And then you just go about. You can kind of upgrade them, by getting these gems, and you turn these gems into attachments that you can use to buff the weapons. And like you say, it's the map is always the same, but it's not the same because every time zone has a different feel to it, has a different look. All the dungeons change, like the different entrances and the ways what you can access in them depending on the time zone you're in.
Yeah.
So that unlocks different paths. But I agree. I think the opening section of the game, we pretty much get every type of enemy, especially if you did go in and get the towers to upgrade your fairy and to upgrade yourself and get your special abilities. Once you go into those towers, you kind of face off against what is essentially the remainder of any enemies that you'll come across.
Yeah.
But no,
get some cool boss fights though.
Yeah.
There's a good variety. What's up with that word? Variety in the boss fights.
Yes. Yeah, there is a good variety, and they're all a little bit different and wacky.
Yeah.
They're all strange. I mean, I don't know how they fit into the world, but they do.
Yeah.
It's like giant rats on wheels and things like that, and like you say, they are cool, and they've all got different attack methods and things that you need to learn. It's not hard to learn them. It's pretty simple, but it is cool nonetheless.
Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Like you say, the art style and things very reminiscent of Octopath. Pretty much exactly the same type of style. Voice acting all the way through as well for people who want voice acting in the game. It has that.
It has a very hard cliffhanger though.
Yeah.
At the end, once you finish the final boss, the story has a super hard cliffhanger. I don't like that in games because typically you need to wait at least, 3 to 4 years, right? Until it's continued. And I just think that's too long to have a cliffhanger. It's different in a TV show also where next year you will get the continuation, but this in games, I think that's just too long. But yeah.
Well, to be fair, the way they've been belting out these 2D HD games recently, I wouldn't put it past them knocking this one out, a second one out pretty quickly.
Yeah. True that. Let's see. We have already a couple of super chats, channel member chats coming in. The first one comes from Sith Lord, who has been a channel member 48 months already. Which is fantastic. So thank you so much for the continued support. He says, Asha wins again, disc to digital announcement. Absolutely. We'll be talking about that a little later in the show. And then we have Rafe Demos, who sends in a channel member chat for being a channel member channel member for 55 months. Again,
Nice.
Thank you so much for the continued support. And he says, low-key feel like we could chat about Witcher for the entire to the podcast. #stoked. And just purchased the Switch game to play it on the Switch 2 on September 26th. Yeah, we could.
I was just talking about that before the show, and we will talk about The Witcher soon. But yeah, we were just talking about that before the show started. So
super excited, man. Yeah, we will get to that. We will talk about The Witcher as well. Dutch, anything else you played outside of Adventures of Elliot and Vampire Survivors?
Nope, not for the last week or so.
I finished up a couple of games. Then.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. After finishing Adventures of Elliot, I went back finally to finish Halo Campaign Evolved. I
need to get onto that because they've actually...
Yes.
They did the update that I requested.
Yes, they did the update. We both requested. You can turn off chromatic aberration and you can turn off film grain. And it looks so much better now, obviously. So yeah, I finished that. Again, I mean, it's Halo, right? We finished this campaign a dozen of times. And I was just wondering how someone would feel who has not that strong nostalgia towards it than we do.
It'll be hard to find somebody that has that, because
I mean, the people on PlayStation shouldn't, right?
That's pretty much it.
for instance, and I mean, there's an entire generation, right? A lot of gamers haven't even been born when the game came out, so I don't know if they went back and played that old game once they finally came of age, right? So, because I felt like visually they did actually a good job. It runs well in Unreal Engine 5. No major hiccups or anything. It was a pretty smooth experience overall. Some of the lighting effects can definitely be improved, but overall the game looked really, really well. Well done for a remake. I also enjoyed that they updated some of the gameplay mechanics, like adding sprint and stuff like that, right? I know it's controversial, but I just feel like a first-person shooter in the year 26 needs that, right?
Yeah.
And even aiming down sights is a welcome addition on my end. So there's really not much to complain there, but you could tell, like, well, some of the level designs and stuff, that it is an older game. So it's, anyway, I had fun playing through it again. It was good, especially after the update without chromatic aberration and film grain. So I finished that. And Luke in the chat says it's visually very impressive. Looks really good. Megalights in particular. In Halo Campaign Evolved, we don't have megalights. Gear's gonna be the first one to feature that. Anyway, I also finished Hades 2. Well,
nice.
I mean, finish is relative with Hades, right?
Yeah.
There's like an endless end game.
You mean you finished a run?
I finished both runs. There are in Hades 2, you do 2 runs. One is going into the underworld, and one run is going up towards the Olymp.
Okay.
And I finished or progressed far enough to do the underworld run like 2 weeks ago or so, but then I stopped because Adventures of Elliot sucked me in and all the other stuff. So I took a break there, and now I was able to finish my run also to the Olymp. Great game. I love Hades. It's fantastic, man. It is this, it can be frustrating at some point, but it always gives you just enough to not put it down, and encourages you to continue and progress your character. And so Hades 2 is really, really good. I wonder why I waited so long to play it, because the game has been out for a year or so, right?
Yeah.
But it is absolutely worth a playthrough. Absolutely. So yeah, I finished that as well. And, well, earlier today, but I only played like the first hour or so, I started with Resonance, A Plague Tale, which came out
right, okay.
like
today,
basically 2 hours before we started the podcast.
Yeah.
And I was able to squeeze in 1 hour. I've recorded that first hour on footage, and the community has voted to watch that. So we're gonna watch that. So yeah, first impression. Well, first impression is mixed. Let me put it this way. It took 45 minutes or so until you finally started to actually play the game. It was very long intro sequences. And you start out, I don't want to put too many spoilers. You start out as a super little kid, like 10 years old or so, and that's where they basically do most of the tutorial stuff in, and then something happens, and you progress into the adult life of the protagonist, Sophia, and yeah, and then the actual game actually starts. Nevertheless, the story seems intriguing so far. It is way more combat focused, way more than the original 2 Plague Tale, right? Those were basically stealth games, and you had the slingshot, and that's about it. This is really, okay, 10 enemies attack you, and you gotta fight against them with your sword and dagger. And it is a very parry-focused combat system. So it's not like a Souls game or anything, no, not even close. But basically, you have to actually do damage. You have to first parry attacks, right? Maybe that changes a little bit throughout the game. I don't know yet. I'm just speaking about the first hour, but yeah, it's a very parry-focused combat system. And what else can I say? Well, visually, it looks really good. It's for me, it's still impressive that a small studio like that can do their own proprietary engine and make a game still look that good. I mean, is it on the level of, I don't know, the GTA reveal that will happen a little later this evening, right? Absolutely not. But again, for such a small studio to do an own proprietary engine, the game looks really, really well. It has a performance mode as well, but that's really not necessary because the game runs in quality mode at 60 and has unlocked frame rates in the performance mode, and it's really impressive. So you can play in quality mode, and the game plays pretty smooth, honestly. So yeah, I'm looking forward to play more. I have it installed on my Ellie because I'm going to take that game on my vacation to Italy. And yeah, that's basically what I've been playing.
Nice.
Let me know in the chat if someone has already checked out Resonance, and what are your thoughts? I want to know that. All right, Dutch. Anything on the what we are playing segment before we move into some of the news?
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah.
I do not believe so.
I've got The Witcher also installed on the Ellie now.
Yeah.
To take along with me to Italy. I wonder why Witcher still doesn't have Play Anywhere though. I I mean, it has cross save for a long time now. I want to say for like 4 or 5 years, but it goes through this cloud service of CD Projekt Red.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's very similar like within Cyberpunk. Yeah, anyway. Looking forward to play a Plague Tale then in Italy and probably a little bit of The Witcher, but we'll get to that. Dutch, let's talk about opening night live. Before we get to some of the news, of course, we have a lot of stuff, especially Xbox stuff, right? PlayStation didn't bother to show up at Gamescom at all. There were really zero announcements. I was really surprised to not even see like a Wolverine trailer on opening night live. I mean, that's the biggest show before the game comes out, right? And the game comes out in a month or so. And I was wondering why Sony didn't even bother to put a single trailer in that show. Also, Nintendo was pretty much absent there, right?
Yeah.
So Xbox is owning Gamescom, right? In terms of news cycle, at least. They have announced a lot of stuff, not just during opening night live, but also afterwards, and we'll get to that. We get to some of the games they've shown, Fable and Gears. They have the Disco Digital. Asha gave a great interview, interesting interview, lots to talk about, but let's talk about opening night live first, Dutch. First of all, overall impressions of the show.
I had it on in the background and it was all right. It was nothing like ultra exciting. Again, I think part of the issue is that we've seen a lot of the games before.
I would agree there.
One thing that I hate that he has done quite significantly over the last couple of shows is he always includes these like, and I hate to kind of put it into this term, but these sloppy Chinese games that are just like mass manufactured.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
You see them all the time as well, and a significant portion of them either never see the light of day or no one's heard of them.
And you will never ever hear of them again as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all by the same people. It's like NetEase or whatever they're called. So just like pump, just pump out all of these. Like you just get so many trailers from them, and none of them will see the light of day.
Yeah.
And then of course you've got a boatload of indie games, which is fine, but at the same time it's also.
See, that's where I always disagree. I think in big gaming shows, indie games shouldn't be pretty much included unless you are an indie game on the level of Hades or Silksong or something where you have a general mindshare already. And it's not because I don't like indie games. On the contrary, I think you don't do the indie developers justice, because when you are showcased in between a Gears E-Day, right, and a Silent Hill and a Crimson Desert and the Tides of Annihilation, nobody will pay attention and everyone will just think, boy, when is that over? Let's get to the good stuff again. And I don't think you do the indie developers justice by putting them in there.
It's, you know what it is? It's not even just games. It's not even just Jeff Keighley. Like Xbox,
no, everyone has this.
PlayStation did. Yeah, they all do
Absolutely.
it. They just slot in these, and you're like, as great as these games would be in isolation, when you sandwich them between big AAA heavy hitters, nobody wants to see it. They're just like, whatever, on to the next.
Exactly. That's when you take a toilet break, right? Oh, another indie game pops up and I know why they do it. I get the argument that if they wouldn't include them, they will never ever get such a big audience.
I think it's both. I can understand both sides of it, because you want to give them the same platform the big AAAs do, but at the same time, people Where people that want to see the indie games will watch the indie showcases.
Exactly. If you are interested in indie games, you will go watch the dedicated indie showcases, which both of us do, right? And with that, you address at least the target audience, right? It would be the same like if Xbox includes in their June showcase trailers for mobile games. Nobody would care. Nobody would care. And that's because the people watching that particular showcase, people that are watching an opening night live or an Xbox June showcase or a Sony State of Play or whatever, those people are usually not the target audience. And that's why I don't think it's a good idea. Rave Demos says, could have an indie showcase like the one you Dutch have done. True that?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. People that watch that show.
The problem is a lot of people don't want to put in the effort, that much effort for indies.
Yeah. True.
And then the flip side is as well. And what I'd try to do with the indie showcase was you do segments that match together. You don't just shove in. Like I wouldn't, like, for instance, there is what you class as the triple I, which is like really high quality indie, almost borderline AAA.
Yeah.
And then you have these like quirky little games and things like that. And again, it's the same thing we're talking about with the big AAA showcases. You don't sandwich a tiny little weird looking game next to a triple I game because it just doesn't do justice.
Yeah.
So like I started last year, I started the showcase off with these like massive big, well, last year it would have been, with these massive big triple I hitters, and then you do segments where it's like, okay, this is a segment of horror indie games, this is a segment of this kind of indie game, this is a segment of like one-man indie games, and you do these in blocks where they fit next to each other and you know what to expect. But they don't want to put in that kind of effort and work for it to just plonk everything in and just go, oh, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And then another thing that detracts from the indie showcases that others produce is they do these massive long segments, like it was at IGN that used to do them, where they'd interview the same indie developer for like 45 minutes.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh, it's not a podcast, it's a showcase.
Exactly.
And then that detracts people from watching indie announcement showcases again, because people are just like, okay, I've been sitting looking at this fishing game for like 45 minutes now, and like it's not that complex. It doesn't need 45 minutes worth of conversation about it.
Exactly. And you probably would have done the game a better justice to just give it a 3-minute trailer and then move on. Yeah. Anyway, opening night live, Dutch. I have the entire list of games that were shown here in front of me. We'll probably not talk about every game.
Definitely not.
Yeah. It was opened with a Notice Fall, right, from Hoyoverse. It looked like a Souls-like game. Didn't do much for me. Then there was an interesting announcement about Rainbow Six Tactics coming in 2027 from Ubisoft.
Yeah.
That actually looked kind of interesting. I was surprised it didn't look visually like on the quality bar that we are used to from Ubisoft, because Ubisoft games look usually, at least from a graphics point of view, right, fantastic. This one didn't look that visually impressive, but it's a 4X strategy game, right? And gameplay-wise, it looked very interesting to me. Talking of
not my kind of game, but it's good to see them kind of branch into that, because shooters often work very well with 4X tactic games. I would love to see Rainbow Six, however, get back into the old school traditional Siege and not this shitty 4v4 thing that they've been doing for years.
Yeah.
Traditional Siege with terrorist hunt and things like that used to be in it. That was fantastic. You go in for online with your friends, play terrorist hunt.
Yeah. PvE.
Go on these missions.
And,
PvE, campaign missions where you have to go and rescue hostages. None of this 4v4 crap where everyone feels really slow.
Yeah. I'm with you there. Especially since those games, if you haven't played them for years, right, it's really hard to get into now. If you haven't played Rainbow Six Siege now, and you just go in there, you're getting annihilated, and it's just not fun, and you will not be able to catch up on quality and skill set, right? It's just...
Yeah.
By the way, no, I'm digressing, but Star Wars is out, or the reviews are out. Since we are talking about 4X strategy
Zero
games. Star Wars Zero Company, yeah. It's getting really good reviews, man.
That's another 4X Tactics one, though, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, it's not really 4X, but it is... Yeah, well, it is 4X. It's XCOM meets... I don't know. But it's really getting really good reviews. A lot of people are praising that.
Speaking of, because we're on the tacticsy side of things, did you see the Game of Thrones?
Yes.
RTS.
For the 500th time or so, right?
That's the first time I'd seen it, but that's more my cup of tea, because that's
more real-time strategy. Yeah, I was thinking about Star Wars Zero Company, getting that. I would really want to play it, and I will get it eventually. But I'm leaving to Italy, going camping, so I'll be playing on the alley for the next almost 2 weeks.
Does Zero Company not play anyway?
It is, but I'm not sure about the controller thing. You know, that kind of game with a controller. I'm not sure. So I'm waiting.
mean, at the same time, I think that they're much easier to play with a controller than Age.
Yes, agree. But there are still some real-time elements in there, right?
Yeah.
So it's...
That always reminds me as well of the fact that I've never actually finished Gears Tactics.
Ooh, you should. So good.
I know. I actually enjoyed what I played of that.
Yeah, really good. Good strategy game. Plays really well with the controller because you have zero real-time gameplay elements in there, right? It's really turn-based and plays well with a controller. I can definitely recommend that. What else? So again, I'm waiting with Star Wars Zero Company, and probably will actually move that into October or so, because when I come back from vacation...
You know as well as I do, by the time that comes out, and all of the games that come out September and October, it's not...
October, it's hard to squeeze that in, right?
Yeah, and then you get it in November and it's GTA.
Yeah. I could play that game in parallel to GTA. Could see myself doing...
You're not going to.
Yeah, we'll see. But I
will play it. About it by then.
I will play it before Christmas.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll
see if you've forgotten about it by then.
No, I haven't. See, I actually have a good list that of games that I need to buy, that I do not forget them. I don't use the wish list.
My only two I think that I need to buy is Final Fantasy Resonance and GTA.
No, my list is way longer. I will definitely play Wolverine as well.
They're the only definitive ones.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm talking about definitive ones. Gears E-Day, obviously. Wolverine.
Yeah, but I'm not buying that.
Yeah, you're not buying a Plague Tale either, right?
Exactly.
So it's my I need to play list. Yeah.
Oh, right. No,
Not.
I'm talking about my purchase list.
No. That's why I'm not doing like the wish list thing. I'm in too many stores. I have Steam, I have Xbox, PlayStation, everywhere. I'm everywhere, and so I have a list of games I actually really want to play. It's not this pretended backlog that people have.
I do actually have a legitimate backlog that I want. It's mainly because I just haven't had time.
Yeah,
But
see, and I doubt
mine
that.
are no, my legitimate. So I'm still working through the Pixel remasters.
Yeah.
This is legitimate. I finished one.
Yeah.
I'm like 50% of the way through two. I'm going to be doing 3, 4, 5, 6. I've already done 7 remake. I'm at the end of Rebirth, and it's a point of where I know how much I've got left, and I don't want to finish it yet. You know that feeling? Where it's like I don't want to do that yet. So I'm kind of delaying it as far as I can through to when Revelation comes out next year. But I have my list of the games that I am literally working through. They are unchangeable. I am working through those.
Yeah, because I'm, you know my stance on the backlog.
Yeah.
A lot of people pretend to have a massive backlog. In reality, this is just a list of games they pretend they want to play. And that's why I'm saying
I've got a massive
you
library.
spent like you spent, I don't know, this year alone 300-400 hours in Pokemon, right? And
God, yeah.
So you cannot tell me you do. In the same time, you could have finished 20 other games, right? And if you actually really wanted to play them, you would have played them instead of Pokemon. And everyone has that. Yeah, I'm not pointing. I'm the same. Yeah, I spent so many times in certain games, so I can't pretend that I do have this massive backlog. I have a list of games I haven't played, and I pretend I want to play, but really don't. And that's what the backlog actually is. So I have like a real list, and this is a super short list, right? At the moment, I have 0 games. The first one that comes out next week is Star Wars Zero Company, right? That is going then on this list, and then the list consists of 1 game. But I can't say.
I also tell a lie. I completely forgot a game that I started because of an announcement not too long ago, which we'll touch on as well, because we when we were off, they showed gameplay for this Kingdom Hearts 4.
Kingdom Hearts 4, yeah.
They showed the actual full-on gameplay. They had the Coco reveal and everything. It looked absolutely fantastic. But because of that, I started playing Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 again. So I have added another one to my list. But again, it's a Square Enix title. So my playlist for like the next several months is Square Enix. And then I've
Final
got
Fantasy comes
Square
out.
Enix. Yeah. And GTA, Square Enix, back again next year. So yes. But then in between all that, again, I've got Gears E-Day, which I will play. I'm going to finish Halo because, of course, they've updated it so I can actually play it comfortably now and not look like a blurry mess. But I agree as well on the backlog thing, as much as we joke about it.
Yeah.
Yes, I do have a backlog, but of those games, I legitimately will only get through specific ones that I'm in the mood for at any given time.
Yeah. I mean, we all do have the comfort games, right? And for instance, The Witcher, right? I know I will be doing in the middle of this madness that is September, October, November. I will be doing my 7th playthrough.
Yeah.
So I cannot pretend I don't have the time to actually work on my backlog. I chose not to. So and there's only like maximum a handful of games, 3-4 games. That's it. That is on my I really need to play this list. And Yeah, Hades 2 was one of those. That was on this list for almost a year. And I knew... So I don't pretend to have like a massive backlog. I sometimes just have 1 or 2 or maximum 3 games. Probably by October it will be 3 games, because I will not be able to play a Plague Tale, Wolverine, and what else comes out in September? Then Gears and all that good stuff at the same time. So yeah, but I will definitely going to go and play those one at a time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rave Dammers in the chat says, with a newborn, my list is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Splintered Fate, Gears E-Day, Halo Combat Evolved, then bury myself in The Witcher 3 Remaster. Yeah.
Yeah, that my problem at the minute, and I think yours is the same, is I'm just in an RPG mood. Like, and if it's not that, I also have One Piece Odyssey, which is a turn-based RPG.
Yeah.
Like, everything I'm looking forward to realistically is an RPG, and then The Witcher announced the upgrade, and I'll be playing that again. There's another RPG.
Yeah.
Like, my list is just RPGs. Thankfully, the Pixel remasters are pretty damn short.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for the fact that they were short, God, I'd be good for games for God knows how long. And again, my most anticipated game is an RPG, and that comes out in February.
Yeah, Fable. We'll get to that. Okay, so like almost 50 minutes into the podcast, and we are still on game number 2 in the opening night live, Dutch. We need a little bit better discipline here.
I can't help it. I've got raging ADHD today, so you just have to deal with that.
Yeah. No, but last thing I say on this backlog thing, I noticed this again just yesterday when I was preparing my ROG Xbox LEX for my vacation, and I was like, okay, what am I installing on this thing? So I installed obviously a Plague Tale, and The Witcher, and I'm good. And I'm good with that.
My only nightmare with my version of the Ally, and at some point I will definitely upgrade it.
Yeah, you need to.
Is I don't know what it'll run and how well it'll run until I've installed it. And their version of it's compatible and it runs okay, runs great is shit.
Do you know that
waste of time?
Do you know the guy on Twitter called his account is called Rock Alley Live?
Yeah.
I highly recommend to check out his site.
The issue is the vast majority of the ROG Alley things are centered around
the
X.
With his account, not. That's why I'm actually recommending it to you. He tests every game on both the ROG Alley S and the ROG Alley X, and actually the old ROG, the original ROG Alley as well. And you will find, like, to every game, any major game, I mean, they're not every indie game or so, but any relevant game, you will find, like, recommended settings for all the 3 devices, and he tells you in how they actually run in those settings. And that's is a really really well done account.
I came across one of them that had a YouTube channel like that.
Yeah.
And the issue is
he runs actually a website and has a big Twitter account.
The issue I found with a guy that was doing that, he was again doing all the settings and things like that for the Ally. But then he was quite satisfied to be like, oh yeah, if you just put like Forza Horizon 6 on like the lowest settings possible and you switch everything off and you do that, it runs just under 30 frames. I'm like, I'm never going to do that. Why the fuck would I do that?
No, because you described the problem with the ROG LES that you have, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That
but he's
you
like,
don't know how...
it's completely okay to play like this. I'm like, it's not. That is not okay to play like that.
Yeah. But that is subjective, yeah? Because some people play the games at 30, right? And feel like that's okay for them.
but it was like everything switched off. It was barely hitting 30.
Yeah.
It was like mid-20s most.
But at least with that side, you get a good overview. If you're thinking about, hey, is this running well on my alley? You can have a look and you know, okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, not every game does look bad on super low settings. When I had the original alley before the Xbox Rock Alley X came out, right? You had to play like at least the AAA games all on super low setting and turn everything off. And for the most part, most games still were pretty good playable because of the smaller screen size, right? It really doesn't matter on a 7 point something inch screen if you have super high res textures. You can't notice anyway, right? And that's why it is a little different on a handheld than if you play on a bigger screen. Nevertheless, it gives you a good overview. Right. Coming back to opening night live. Gears E-Day was next. We'll talk about that separately because there have been a couple of other announcements around Gears. Then what else? Silent Hill, a couple of other Ananta or something like that. These Japanese manga-looking games with the girls and the bubbly eyes. And let's skip over that. Silent Hill Townfall actually looked good.
Yeah, it does. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
That's one that when it was first announced, I thought it looked really good as well, though, to be fair.
True. A Plague Tale Resonance got a trailer. We talked already about that. Crimson Desert was in that show. I was surprised there. Yeah. A lot of people were super happy that it has now localized voices, right? In German. You can play the game now in German for those who want to. Tides of Annihilation. What did you think about that? Because I know a lot of people are very excited for Tides of Annihilation, and I must admit it does look good. However, I personally am so saturated by these Souls-like looking games that do play in this feudal Japan, with a feudal Japan setting. I feel like we are getting so many games that are like that, right? Soulsy plus feudal Japan, and I'm like kind of saturated there. I don't want that anymore. I need a break from that. So
yeah,
even though I haven't played that many of those in recent years, but
I feel like games, and the same with like there's so many things where you just like, right, okay, I've seen enough of these.
Yeah.
It's like it's the going through the whole PUBG scenario again, where everyone wants to do a battle royale.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that.
I remember years ago going, it would look really cool if they did an RPG set in feudal Japan, and then we're like, I wanted one. I didn't want everybody to make one.
Luke in the chat says it's set in Fantasy London. Yeah, I know. It is. I meant like either Soulsy art style and setting or feudal Japan. I know it's not the same.
Same thing. Yeah.
Sorry if I didn't make that clear, but yeah, it's these two things where I'm just so saturated. And
I agree.
Yeah. Mega Man was in there, man.
Yeah.
You know me. I'm all up for these good platformer or Metroidvanias. Mega Man isn't a Metroidvania, but of course I hold a lot of nostalgia for Mega Man, and it actually does look fun. Comes out next year, and I think I might be playing that, man. I know you're not a big Mega Man fan. Why is that?
I just never got into it. It's like, well, obviously, it just depends on what you've grown up with, and I never ever grew up with or got into Mega Man.
Hmm.
I played some really obscure games when I was younger, though.
You did.
Yeah,
I think we all did, right?
yeah. And again, mine was mainly fueled by the fact that my dad would come back from like Albania and things like that, and have like boxes and boxes of ripped games.
Games.
Yeah, for the
Yeah, for me it
PC,
was
and I
more,
used to play.
at school, we were all trading like these. Everyone got like a game for Christmas, and then we all traded them or borrowed it, and you had a little later the thing on the disc. I mean the 3.5 floppy disks where someone
Yeah,
was able either to copy it, even though the copy thing wasn't sometimes easy, right? Or we just traded those, and there were some really weird ass games I've played
yeah,
when I was a teenager. Luke in the chat says again, it's not a Souls-like either. It's a character action game like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta. It also get a bit soulsed out. He also gets a bit soulsed out, so I'm glad it's not one. It
yeah,
most certainly does look like it. I must admit, I've seen like the couple of trailers that have been in recent showcases, like in the State of Play. There was one trailer for that, right? And so on. I haven't looked into it further because it automatically turned me off. It looked to me like a Souls game, and I was like, nah, not interested. So I didn't
yeah.
look into it much further. That's how burned out I am.
Yeah, complete anything that looks or even resembles a Souls game, I'm automatically switched off.
Yeah.
Or even if it's an action RPG that looks or plays kind of similar to a Souls game, I'm like, nope.
Yeah, with you there. What else? Rayman Legends was in there. I can't wait.
We all know what to expect for Rayman Legends.
Yeah, but I'm super excited for that. I'm going to play the hell out of that with my kids. Rayman Legends has become like our family game. It's where the kids, the wife, and I, we play four-player co-op like regularly. Just the other day, we've been playing that again. It is so I cannot wait. This is gonna be a family game for me.
Nice.
But yeah, we have seen it and we know what to expect.
Yep.
But they've done some cool things with the 3D effects, and so I wonder how that works in four-player co-op though. With the 3D thing, it is already pretty chaotic when you play with 4 players on the same screen. Couch co-op, it can be pretty chaotic and in 2D, and I wonder how that will transfer over to the 3D segments. What else? Control 2 got a trailer. I know neither you nor I am interested. Blood of the Dawnwalker got a trailer.
Yeah.
Dutch, we've talked about Blood of the Dawnwalker previously. Some of the ex-Witcher devs formed their own studio, right? Made Blood of the Dawnwalker, and it is looking fantastic. But you and I were both a little bit turned off by the combat, because it is this directional combat that you have in games like Kingdom Come, Deliverance, right? And that's what actually turned me off in Kingdom Come. And so I was like, Did you see? I missed this. But did you see that they will have an option to turn that off and just have regular bidirectional combat in the game?
No, but that's good.
That's very good.
Actually want to play
it is actually on my I need to play this list. Or will be when it comes out in 1.5 weeks or so. Blood of the Dawnwalker looks really, really good. You have this vampire setting, which I feel is not saturated in the gaming space. When was the last time we had a proper vampire game? Like Blood and Wine DLC in The Witcher? Yeah, Vampire Masquerade maybe?
Yeah.
But it's not a setting that we see like in every other game. Like the feudal Japan thing is nowadays in like every game. And you don't see that with the vampire setting. You have this cool looking story where you get bitten by the bad overlord vampire, right? But somehow something goes wrong and you can actually walk in daylight and only use your vampire skills in night. And you're trying to save your family, you only have 30 days for that. Yeah, and whenever you do, it's not like the time progresses while you actually regularly play, but the time progresses whenever you do a quest, and that includes side quests. So the developer said you cannot do all side quests in the first play run. You have to actually think about which ones to do. Because every time you finish up a quest, your time progresses, and if you haven't saved your family within the 30 days, but even if you don't save them, the game isn't over. The game will just take a different ending, and it is all looking really, really good. So I'm very much interested now that I know you can turn off the directional combat. So that has me excited, man.
Yep. Just a quick overview here. GTA graphically looks very similar to Cyberpunk.
Okay. I'm not watching that. I thought about, hey, let's put it in this stream here today and just watch the 25-minute thing here live together in the middle of the podcast.
You're allowed to.
You sure? Because I did.
Yeah, Rockstar's just put a tweet up saying as long as there's commentary.
Okay, because I researched that like 2 days ago or so, and they didn't say anything, and I was like, nah, I'm not.
Literally just put the tweet out like about 2 minutes ago saying as long as you put commentary on.
Okay. So we could have.
And it's not just a direct rip, like someone's just re-uploaded the entire thing on the internet.
Okay. No. Anyway, I'm going to watch that after the podcast, right?
Yeah. I'll rewatch it again after the pod. It's mainly in the background here, and straight away. Graphically,
I can't.
Graphically, just noticing it looks a lot like especially the indoor scene we've got here, like Cyberpunk. Like graphically, it looks like Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay. Yeah. We need to talk about GTA then in the next podcast.
Yeah.
Actually, in 2 weeks then, because next week I'm still in Italy. Anyway, I thought, well, most of our listeners do listen after the fact anyway, and then this is an exciting segment. And we have also a lot of audio listeners on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Shout out to those guys as well. And for them, it's not interesting at all. So, yeah, we just covered GTA the next time. Game of Thrones was in opening night live, right? You already mentioned that.
That looks intriguing. Like I said, that looks more like my cup of tea. That looks more like Age of Empires.
Yeah. What else? Exodus was in there. Got a release date for 24th of July 27. This far out, such a precise release date.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if it gets delayed. But that actually looks a little bit like Mass Effect, right? It's that game that looks a little bit like Mass Effect, and they've introduced your companion, the speaking, talking squid thing, the octopus thing. But yeah, shout out to the Big Bridge in the chat. He says hi. Welcome, brother. Welcome. All right, what else? Warlock Dungeons and Dragons. got a pretty lengthy gameplay segment. I'm still not sure about that game. We've seen it in the past with a lot of cinematic trailers. Now we got actually like continued gameplay of, I want to say, 10 minutes or so. What did you think of that, man?
I'm also still not sure about it.
No, but it looked better than I expected. I thought like we've had Dungeons and Dragons games in the past, right? Where they were just like, yeah, let's slap that name onto our crappy ass game. And automatically when
it might still be.
it might still be, but it did look actually not that bad.
Yeah. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. It looked all right.
True. 1001 Threats of Misdone got like a cinematic trailer with little snippets of gameplay in there. It's this game in the Orient, you know, where you ride that flying carpet and fight big monsters and stuff.
Yeah.
It's one of those games that, I don't know, we'll probably never ever hear of again.
Yeah. There's a lot of them.
Then we had a lot of weird indie games. Metro 2039.
Yeah.
Got a new trailer, and along with that, a lot of previews have been released. I just watched earlier today the one from ACG. Good one, definitely. Go to his channel. Check that out. Digital Foundry did an analysis already. They gave actually pretty in-depth previews. A lot of people played it 20 or more hours in the preview already.
Christ.
Which is...
Yeah, that's long.
That's pretty long. And it does look fantastic.
Be a big game.
Yeah. It does look fantastic. The trailer they've shown off, but also the previews. A lot of people give it a big praise. The super fantastic atmosphere in those games. I mean, that's what they are known for, right? Meets really well visuals with the 4A engine, also a proprietary engine that looks phenomenal. And the weapons apparently feel really good in that game, right? So I'm excited for Metro, man. And I know a lot of people complain about September, October this year, but the real madness is February next year. Because I mean, a lot of games come out in September, but I would argue only like a handful or very few do have that AAA stamp, right? I mean, there's maybe Wolverine and Control 2 or so that you could put under this banner of a AAA game, and then they are adjacent with a lot of AA or smaller games, which is madness. And I know October also carries Gears and towards the end Call of Duty or so. But and then games like Minecraft Dungeons or Rayman, we just talked about it, right? But those are not like the heavy hitters. But February is like insane. You have from Tomb Raider to Fable to Metro. Like, it is crazy. You have like 6 massive AAA games in February alone. And so February is even more crazy than this year's September or October. And Metro is definitely one I'm going to play. And I love the Metro series. From 2033 to First Light to Exodus. I love the Metro series. And this one is actually apparently going back to the more linear approach of the first two. While you had these huge open areas with a lot of side stuff and whatnot in the third one. which was still a phenomenal game. But I preferred in Metro the more linear and more denser atmosphere, and this is going back to that, where you are in the Metro, right? And you have not like this open space. It is a defined corridor, but the atmosphere nails it, and this is more like this. So I'm excited for that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look great. I expect nothing less than those guys making a great game at this point, because they have all been great games. So
yeah. Absolutely. The Big Bridge in the chat says, there was a game I've been waiting for which has gone radio silent, The Eternal Life of Goldman. I can't even remember, honestly, which one that was.
Can't say I've heard of it, unfortunately.
Yeah. Snoop Dogg is coming to Hitman, man. Crazy Taxi had the multiplayer reveal.
Yeah.
Then they've shown Turok Origins, which actually doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, it looks like good old classic cheesy Turok.
Yeah. Path of Exile got the announcement for the full release. Release 1.0 comes out on December 11th. So that's probably my Christmas game there. I've already spent, I need to double check, way above 100 hours. I think I'm at around close to 150 hours or so when the game launched in early access. Path of Exile 2 is fantastic, man. It is Diablo 4, but a little harder, a little more challenging, and way deeper in your skill tree, right?
Yeah.
You have to pay way more attention to your skill tree than in Diablo. But it is really, really good. It has a lot of great variations in boss fights. The classes really feel different to play. Yeah. It's not. I don't want to hate on Diablo 4 because I like Diablo 4 a lot, actually. But it is just a way deeper game. Diablo 4 is more casual, and Path of Exile 2 is way deeper, and I loved it. It has a fantastic end game. And yeah, the release 1.0 comes out in December, and I will be all over that, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I will have finished GTA by then, so it's no problem.
Yeah, you should have done. By mid-December.
That's a month after GTA.
Yeah.
I think I will have finished GTA by then. Well, and then Final Fantasy Revelation got a new trailer.
Yep.
I mean, what can we say?
I'm surprised you hadn't, or have you already, did you catch up with the actual trailer from the original announcement that you didn't see?
Yeah, I did.
Good. So there wasn't really that much showing off in this, to be honest.
I mean, they've shown Aerith gameplay, right? Which I can't really remember. I thought she was dead.
She is.
Right?
I can only imagine it's a flashback.
Yeah. Anyway, and then the big thing, The Witcher. Let's talk about that, Dutch.
Yes. Massive upgrade.
Massive upgrade. A lot of Witcher news came, right? So, where to begin? Yep. I mean, they've advertised upfront. We will reveal Songs of the Past, and we knew that was coming, right? And what they actually were able to keep a secret is that The Witcher 3 is getting a remaster, right? Upgraded visuals, upgraded gameplay mechanics in terms of traversal and combat that they have improved. They have a new skill tree and a new skill system coming. So they did quite a few things on that. So they labeled it not a remake, but a remaster. We've already seen a couple of comparisons from original base game, right, to remaster. It is a visual improvement, definitely noticeable. And so wonder how it actually feels now, the combat feels then, and traversal feels then, and how the new skill tree works. And
by the sounds of things, they've also tried to make the combat a little bit nicer for more people to get into.
Yeah,
a bit smoother.
I know that a lot of people complained about the combat system in Witcher 3.
I mean, for me, it was fine. I think they've just made it smoother.
I hope so, and that it didn't change its core basics and mechanics, because I actually really liked the combat in The Witcher 3, because typically in an RPG you level up your character to get better, right? But in The Witcher 3 I had the person, and maybe that was just a me thing, but I always had the feeling like I also got better, right? Once you get the hang of how to dodge, how to parry, when to use your signs and whatnot, you had the feeling like, oh, actually not just Geralt's skills improved, but my personal player skill also improved. And so I really enjoyed the Witcher 3 combat. And I hope they are not changing it too much. But it is hard to tell from trailers how a combat system feels, right? Nevertheless, Dutch, it's time for a 7th full playthrough with this remaster. And the good thing is, and I mean, we really gotta give CD Projekt Red big credits for that. It's free. It's completely free. And we've seen so many companies doing these remasters over and over again to just sell it to you again at full price, or at least at some price, right? I mean, especially Sony has been doing a lot of those where The Last of Us Last of Us 2 was like 2 years old or so when they sold you the remaster at full price, and they've done it with a bunch of other games as well, Spider-Man and Horizon Forbidden West. What was the first one called? The first one, Horizon, anyway, and so on. And of course, other publishers have been doing that as well. I mean, it's always a little different with Xbox because thanks to Gamepass, it doesn't feel like they are charging you. And I don't feel like Xbox has been doing that on the same extent, because a lot of the next-gen patches were free on Xbox, at least, right? But this is more than just a next-gen patch, because The Witcher already had the next-gen patch, right? Where they added ray tracing and 60 FPS and stuff. It's a true overhaul of the visuals, the gameplay system, the skill tree, and so on. So, and they're handing it out completely for free. They're also handing out the 2 DLCs that are already out, completely free. Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine, right? So, yeah, I think that is definitely needs a shout out, and you gotta give credits to them. Doing that. September 27th can't come fast enough. What were your thoughts, dude?
Yeah, unexpected, but very pleasant. Like you say, I've got it on Xbox and I've got it on the Switch, and the bonus for Switch users is that Switch 2 people get the upgrade for free. Even if you only, and again, as you mentioned, if you only own the base version, you get the DLCs for free.
Yeah.
And everybody's entitled to it, so free upgrades for everybody. So if you haven't already got it, you can pick it up on CD keys or anything like that, and super cheap for like £5,
yes.
£6, £7 or something for the base game. Get it now before the 29th, I think, when it drops, which is 2 days' time. and then you'll have the upgrade for free.
True. I mean, the game is super cheap by now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really like, yeah, you can get it for $5 or so. And again, it is still, I mean, the game still looks, I've just installed it the other day again on my ROG Xbox LEX, because I thought like, hey, I start my playthrough now, my 7th, and then when the next gen update hits, you better notice the difference, because
Yeah.
if you have, let's say you haven't played The Witcher for a couple of years, right? And you're now playing the remaster, you will always sit there and think like, it always looked that good, when it really didn't. But your memory plays a trick with you, right?
Yeah.
After all, the game is 11 years old, and I just installed it and checked it out, how it runs on the ROG Xbox LEX, and honestly, it still looks fantastic. You can play it on the ROG Xbox LEX without the patch or the remaster. Now on high settings, everything, at good 45 to 50 FPS. And it looks pretty phenomenal still, right? Better
Do you
than
fly before or after the update?
well, I installed it yesterday, so the update
No.
isn't out yet.
No, that's what I'm saying. Do you fly before or after the update?
Before I'm not. I was like, what do you mean with flying? I'm not flying. I'm driving to Italy, dude.
Ah.
Got a 10
I was
hour.
going to say mainly for the download of the update when you're away.
Yeah, no. I'll be back when the update comes out. The
I thought it was
update
27th September,
That's
isn't it?
another month or so. Yeah, until it comes out.
I was thinking it was like this month.
No.
Yeah, 1 month. That's all right then.
Yeah. So, yeah, Dutch. Then they've shown of Songs of the Past. What did you think of that, man?
Yeah, it's very intriguing. I'm looking forward to seeing this world. What they said afterwards was that Songs of the Past, like it looks like the area that it is set in looks nice and things like that, but it has a dark undertone.
It's called Latin, yeah.
Yeah. So it looks nice, but has a dark undertone. So then I'm expecting a very pretty looking area to get dark and deep. And
I mean, they had the CD Projekt Red stream on first day of Gamescom then, where they've shown like, I want to say at least 45 minutes or so of continued gameplay in Songs of the Past, right? And it does look fantastic. They've said it is inspired, that the area is inspired by medieval Poland, right? Which is basically their home turf, right? And it does look beautiful. I mean, let's be fair, they've chosen some of the daylights, like when Geralt walks along a huge river and it's sunset time, right? And you have this huge glowing sun, great lighting, and then it looks phenomenal. But then they've shown some of the darker areas as well, where you go into a haunted villa and stuff like that. And I cannot wait. It does look fantastic. It'll be the last story of Geralt. That's what they've confirmed. After they phrased it like that. After this story, the torch will be handed over to Ciri. Yep. So I will absolutely expect some overlap to the beginning of The Witcher 4. I think that's gonna be the storyline that introduces in Ciri as the future main protagonist. Even though they didn't show Ciri yet in the DLC, nothing.
Yeah,
nothing in the trailers yet.
They want to keep that. I would imagine they want to keep that kind of a secret. Like you see, I mean, you played as Ciri in The Witcher 3, and she was really overpowered.
Yes, true.
She like just disappear and go from one place to another and just wipe people out for fun.
Yeah. So, I mean, depending on which ending you got in your playthrough of The Witcher. And I think I have gotten all possible main endings.
Well, I would expect that after 7 or 8 playthroughs.
6. Yeah, let's not exaggerate. So far, yeah, I'm doing the 7th now. Then with the remaster. Depending on which ending you got, Ciri already got properly introduced in how she became a Witcher, right? But it was like explained pretty quickly, and so I expect that to be way more detailed, either in the DLC or the beginning of The Witcher 4. Which, by the way, The Witcher 4 also, like a day prior to opening night live, CD Projekt Red confirmed a release window for that, and they are targeting 28 with that.
Yeah.
So Witcher fans are eating really well. We are getting Songs of the Past next year, which I was surprised that we didn't get like a proper release date. Yeah, I would have imagined that they come out and say, okay, it's gonna come in April or whatnot, or June or whatever. They've still only said like 27. And then 28, we get The Witcher 4. If all things go well. I mean, you know how it is these days with these massive AAA games. Delays could be coming. But it's going to be interesting because all we hear, by the way, don't want to digress too much, but Elder Scrolls 6 apparently is also targeting a 28 release. So you have like the two biggest sci-fi fantasy RPGs out there releasing in the same year. And that's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah.
I don't think that Elder Scrolls...
Aren't they making Cyberpunk in parallel as well, the next Cyberpunk?
Yes, the next Cyberpunk is a different team that is already in pre-production of that. For 2 years now or so already. So I would expect that Cyberpunk is going into full production fairly soon. But yeah, the main team is working on The Witcher. Yeah. And most of the staff is now working on The Witcher 4. But with Songs of the Past in 27, then Witcher 4 in 28, don't forget they are still already working on the remake of the first original Witcher, which I would probably guess is then a 29 game. So we are getting like Witcher.
Do you think they might not even try to release that? Maybe the tail end of next year.
I mean,
before Witcher 4 comes out.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. However, it's been too silent around that. And the remake is only supported by CD Projekt Red. They handed that over to another studio. I'm blanking on the name of the studio right now. I mean, if you would have asked me a year ago or so, I would have said, yes, of course. It absolutely makes sense to release the remake before 4 comes out. Like a year or 10 months or so before Witcher 4 comes out, you release the remake to get people hyped up again. But now with the Songs of the Past coming, and then a year later you have The Witcher 4, do you really need to squeeze in another Witcher game in between the two?
Why not?
You don't want to burn people out,
but at the same time,
need it then.
Like, Songs of the Past could be, say, middle of next year. Witcher 4 could be the tail end of 28. So you might end up having a gap of like a year and a half.
Yeah.
So even if you released the Witcher remake at the beginning, either the tail end of 27, if not beginning of 28, then nah, people wouldn't be burnt out.
Brave Demos in the chat says Saber, isn't it? Could be. Let me really quickly Google that. Witcher remake studio. Fool's Theory is making that.
I don't know how much. I mean, one thing I think they will overhaul is the combat mechanics and the movement.
Yes,
and then the graphics.
Because The Witcher 1, I really enjoyed The Witcher 1. I was one of the few people that actually played The Witcher 1 on PC back in the day.
Yeah.
And I loved it back in the days. But The Witcher 1 really has aged not well. If you're trying, you can still play Witcher 2. You can tell it's dated and everything, yeah, I know. But to play Witcher 1...
Witcher 2 called again?
Assassins of Kings or something.
Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
That
had a really cool intro sequence as well, to be fair.
Yes, absolutely. Great game. Different game than Witcher 3.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would be disappointed if you go back, and that's my point about the remake. I mean, it all depends on scope and quality of the remake, right? We don't know that yet. All they've said is that they are completely overhauling it, and not just visually, that they also want to change the gameplay mechanics, modernize them, make the combat modern, and so on. But still, if I would argue that most people got introduced into the Witcherverse through Witcher 3, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Witcher 3 sold... what was the number? 50 million copies or something like that by now.
Yeah.
And I think The Witcher 1 and 2 combined didn't even sell 10. So most people got introduced to the Witcherverse through Witcher 3. And if you go and you say, hey man, damn cool, I want to learn how is Witcher 1 or 2 for that matter, and you play those games, you will be probably disappointed because those were very different games. They weren't like super open worldish, right? Especially The Witcher 1 wasn't an open world game. It was a pretty linear thing.
Yeah.
And the combat was very different, a very different thing, and everything except maybe the cool storytelling. Everything else is very different. And so if you release the Witcher remake, even if you modernize the combat and even if you modernize the visuals, but you release a game that is very, very, very different to what Witcher 3 and Witcher 4 for that matter is, I don't know if you turn people off more, or if you rather release it after The Witcher 3 and say, hey, now that you've all played The Witcher 4 and you loved it and everyone's hyping it up and because it's going to be awesome and whatnot, and then you come out, okay, and if you go back, like, by then, I don't know, 20 years, and want to see where it all began, we have this pretty cool remake for the fans. That's a very different thing, rather than turning them off and maybe getting negative press, because it's risky for them. Because even if you modernize everything, it's still a very different game than what people would expect. And you know the media and press and content creators, and they are all going to be over this. Oh, this isn't anything like The Witcher 3, and this is bullshit. And and we fear now for Witcher 4. Is Witcher 4 in danger if you release that prior to it? So I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I would argue they're gonna release that remake after The Witcher 3 now. Witcher 4. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. But at the same time, it would still also make sense story-wise to give them the whole backstory before they play Witcher 4.
Yeah. I know that. We shall see, man. We shall see. Did we ever get an update on the they also apparently were working on a multiplayer Witcher thing.
Yeah. I think, again, that's another company entirely, isn't it?
Yeah, it was also a different studio. God, I still don't think that's a good idea. Don't do that. The Witcher is now held on such high standards and quality.
The only way that could work, and I'm not MMO per se, but is like a cooperative open world, not Diablo, but the vein of you create your own Witcher, and there's loads of tasks and hunts and things like that for you to do in the open world, and so it's kind of like essentially write your own story, create your own legend.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, but at the same point, see, only very, very few games come to this point where you consider them more than just a game release, where they become like this cultural event when they come out. I think GTA is the biggest example.
Wouldn't you also say it's cool if they had essentially a cooperative version of The Witcher where you've got your own Witcher and you take on a contract together and you've got to go and hunt down this beast and you've got to work together to take it down, because it's like, unlike The Witcher 3 where you can take it down by yourself, you have to work together.
Yeah, I know what you mean. No, I'm coming from this at a different angle. See, the thing is, GTA is like this big cultural event because it is so big, and there's nothing coming close to GTA. But there are a handful of games. I would consider maybe Elder Scrolls being also one of those, where it is more than just, oh, cool, a new game comes out and the gaming community itself is excited. But when the Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, this is gonna be a little bit more than that. Yeah, more than just a new Fable or a new Gears game or a new Halo game. It is almost to that point where you say, okay, this is like a cultural event. And I think The Witcher is also on that level almost, where you could say it's not GTA level. I'm not talking that, but it's more than just your regular, oh, there's a new game coming, right? Thing. But if you like flood this IP with release, you dilute that. You know what I mean? It is not. Then and then there's a multiplayer game, and then there's this and that, and you kind of. There's a reason why Rockstar doesn't release a GTA every 3 years, right?
That's because online makes them billions of pounds worth of money.
Yeah, but also because then it becomes like this big event because it is something special, you know?
They've already said that's not the reason why.
See, and they've already said they want to release The Witcher 4, 5, and 6 within 3 years. So 3 years after 4, 5 comes out, and 3 years after 5, 6 comes out. They've already.
See, this is where it doesn't make sense to release the remakes after 4 then, if they're going to be doing 4, 5, and 6 back to back.
Back to back, yeah. I know what you mean.
Because otherwise, then the remakes would be.
Yeah, then where do you squeeze this in? And then the multiplayer. And you squeeze everything in there, and then you have like this almost annual Witcher thing. And then it loses.
That's why it doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's why to me it doesn't make sense releasing the remake after 4, because then you've sandwiched it in between a brand new trilogy.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So yeah, we shall see about this remake thing. Yeah. We shall see. I mean, there's a high or good chance that The Witcher 4 isn't even making 28. Yeah, and they've said they are targeting this now, but it could also very well be delayed easily to 29, right? And then you have enough time to squeeze the remake in.
I think much like Rockstar, the Red Dead shareholders are very much on them as well for when they've set.
Yeah. So
And you've got to think like their turnover, especially them, their turnover has been The Witcher, and then and because this is a free upgrade that we're getting, they're not really going to make any money off it.
True.
And then they had Cyberpunk, which was the next big money maker, and then 28 is the next real big money maker. Because although there's a lot of people play The Witcher 3, I can't imagine them make an absolute bucket load on the DLC for Witcher 3 when it comes out next year.
Oh, I disagree there. I would place a bet that they will easily sell 20 million copies of the Songs of the Past. Easily. I know this seems ridiculous for a DLC, but given how beloved the base game was and all the DLC was, and everyone is so excited about this, I'm telling you that the Songs of the Past will sell 20 million copies. It will be a very, very good money maker.
But do you think it will though? I think on stage when they were announcing the fact that everyone gets the DLCs free, was that not because of the fact that they had the information to suggest that not that many people had actually played the DLCs after?
No. I think it's the contrary. They said we have saturated the market with that. We want to bring people back to The Witcher, and that's why we're giving out the remaster for free, or the upgrade to the remaster for free. We're giving them the DLC, and then we make the money, because then people are hooked again. Then people are hooked on that. And again, you shall not forget that by the time Songs of the Past comes out, the base game is 12 years old. There's already like an entire generation of gamers that haven't been playing games when the original Witcher came out. So how do you lure them in? You give them one of the games that is considered to be one of the best games ever made. Yeah. There's hardly anyone arguing against that. Not everyone is that massive fan like I am, where I hold it to a very special pedestal. But if you would ask people, it's definitely in the top 5 of the best games ever made for the vast majority of gamers. And so you lure those people in that haven't played it maybe yet, through the remaster that will sell, again, because if you have not bought the base game yet, and for those who have played it like a decade ago, you lure them back in, and I don't think that the DLC sold badly. I don't know the numbers, but I think Blood and Wine and Hearts of Stone both sold really well. But again, even though the DLCs are now 10 years old. Yeah. And that's why you can give them out for free, because it makes you more money to lure people back into the game and then sell them Songs of the Past as new content. So anyway, Dutch, besides Witcher 3, we got a good deep dive into the Gears of War campaign. There was the trailer. And there was the Gamescom presentation, or segments that you could play, and like it is, everything's online already. We got a good look at the campaign of Gears of War ED. What were your thoughts before I give my spiel?
I have intentionally ignored everything other than the campaign trailer, because I don't want to see too much of the actual campaign. That's literally pretty much the only reason I'll be playing Gears. So I watched the campaign trailer. It looks fantastic. The new baddie looks fantastic. It looks grim. It looks dark. It looks brutal. Like the intro to the trailer, you see the COG members getting dragged into essentially being burnt alive. And one of them had something poured over his face, and it like melted his skull, and like it looks getting back to its roots grim, which is exactly what we need. But yeah, as expected, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does. It does. Like you said, I mean, the art style, you don't have like these lush forests in like you had in Gears 5 and vibrant colors or so. It's dark, it's
Yeah,
gritty again, more like the atmosphere of 1 and 2, right?
yeah,
Um I mean, technically absolute masterpiece, right? With the mega
yeah,
lighting and everything. To get that running at 60 FPS on these old ass consoles that we have, right? Um, phenomenal on technical side, but also like gameplay wise, they've changed a few things up, right? The sprinting is very different now. We can already tell that from the multiplayer beta that we've all played. Um, you don't have the shaky camera anymore. You have things like jumping right over obstacles. So they've changed just enough from the gameplay perspective that it still
yeah,
feels like Gears, but still plays new.
yeah,
I love that. Like you said, the bad guy got introduced. Looks exactly what you need in a Gears game. Um, the people that have played the 1 hour demo also emphasized it's gonna be an emotional story. I like that because I think especially 2 and 3 um, had these insane moments, right?
yeah,
Which you wouldn't normally expect in such a game, right? Where you have these big dude bros with the super heavy guns and the weird ass monsters to have such
yeah.
emotional moments and such emotional characters in there. And they're going back to that. So I'm all up for Gears, man. Multiplayer beta was also great, so it's it's absolutely my most anticipated game this year. Can easily say that. I mean, I haven't seen the GTA thing that they've announced, but I have a pretty good idea what GTA is, right?
Yeah.
And still, I'm all up for Gears, man. Xbox has shown also Fable, Dutch.
Yep. I have watched a little bit of that. Again, not diving too much into it because I don't want to spoil it too much for myself.
Yeah,
But the quest, yeah, the questing and things like that do look fantastic. So, no, I am super looking forward to that.
yeah. Let me interrupt you real quick. We come back to Fable. Prince Green in the chat says he's just coming back from GTA reveal. That game has the best hair physics he's ever seen in a game. The lighting is amazing and the level of detail in the environments is crazy. And he's not a GTA fan. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see that. I'm gonna watch that after the podcast. And I would be surprised if that isn't the case, because Rockstar are absolutely phenomenal wizards, right? If
Yeah,
you
I
look
mean they
at
showed it off on the base PlayStation 5,
which
so there was
is
certain
good,
things watching it on a big OLED. There were certain things that did you could tell it was just on the base PlayStation. Put it that way.
I mean, again, we have these consoles. I know people make them out to be something super special, but yeah, these consoles are basically a low tier PC that is 6 years old.
Yeah,
That is what the Xbox Series X and the PS5 are, right?
and while it
Um,
does look great, as I mentioned at the start, to me it looks like, and that's not a dint to it. That's probably a praise to it. It looked graphically like Cyberpunk.
hmm.
Um, and in terms of hair physics, you'll be old enough to remember this, and people who are even a decade when Final Fantasy 15 came out, and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Nvidia used to have something called Nvidia Hairworks.
Yeah. Even The Witcher had
which
that.
was yeah
like
yeah
11 years ago.
hyper realistic
Yeah.
hair that you could put on, and it was like so taxing
Yes.
to use it. So they didn't continue to use that. And they found better ways of doing it because that required a whole separate option where you like switch it on and things.
Turn hair physics off in The Witcher and you get 30 extra FPS.
Yep.
Or 25 extra FPS. It's insanely taxing. Nevertheless, I'm looking forward to see GTA, and I'm looking forward to play the game. I'm a fan of GTA. That's not the case. I'm just not buying into this super mega hype. You know,
no,
for me that is more like, well, it's a really good AAA coming. Yeah, it would be. Yeah. I would be more hyped if it was Red Dead 3, right? But even if you look at Red Dead 2, which is also now, I want to say, how old is Red Dead 2? 7 years, 8 years?
Maybe, if not older.
Yeah. And it is still one of the best looking games out there. The level of detail that Rockstar puts in is second to none. And I would expect nothing less from GTA 6. So yeah, that's gonna be.
And again, I think what that didn't really help is I don't know what quality the upload was, because it doesn't. You can't see what quality the upload is on Netflix, and I don't think it was 4K.
Okay. Green Screen says it's nothing like the Nvidia Hairworks. It looks miles better than that. And he was never a GTA fan. He only liked the 2D games from the 90s. Yeah.
They were good.
But he has to admit he was impressed by GTA 6. Yeah, again, I mean, listen, that's the thing with
Rockstar are all wizards.
Yeah. They are wizards, absolutely. And even if you don't like a game, you can still be impressed by its tech, right? That is totally fair. I'm looking forward to see that Netflix thing. We'll be watching that as soon as we finish here. Anyways, coming back to Fable Dutch, they've released 18 minutes of gameplay, an entire quest in Bowerstone, right? The capital city. Fans of the original series might remember Bowerstone, right? And they've shown a quest also going into combat, more in that. And besides this like narrated 18-minute quest that they've shown, they've released 45 minutes of continued gameplay, split where you go into a cave and do like a mission in a cave. It's 45 minutes long. Well, actually, it's only like 22 minutes long, but they've done this quest twice in that gameplay with two completely different loadouts. Yeah, in the first 20-minute run, they've shown you were equipped with like a hammer as your melee weapon, a longbow for your bow, and so on. And in the second run through, you equipped with a sword and a high frequency crossbow where you can like boom shoot really fast, and to show off like how different the combat can be. One more slower but heavier and more impactful, or more fluent, more faster, and so yeah. But I think most people have only seen the 18-minute gameplay demo from Bowerstone, and overall, I mean, they've said it runs on PC on ultra settings. Yeah, let's not forget that. I still want to see how that game looks actually on a Xbox Series X. But it does look phenomenal. I mean, the visual fidelity and density in Bowerstone with all the NPCs and the little details, and how the environments look, from trees to flowers to everything. It does look fantastic. the only little criticism I would have is still like the character animations, or especially the facial impressions. They do not represent like the quality of the rest of the world. But from lighting to texture quality to everything, again, it was shown on ultra settings. Yeah. But I'm also happy with the combat, because if you're a fan, and I'm a massive fan of the original Fable trilogy, and yes, I am saying trilogy,
Yeah.
I even liked 3, you always know that the Fable combat isn't a pure hack and slash where you like only press the X button and then swing your sword around and everyone dies. That's not the combat. The combat has always been about switching things up in between melee, ranged, and magic.
Yeah.
And it all goes seamlessly hand in hand, and you cannot just focus on melee combat alone. You will not succeed in the game. You have to switch to magic. You have to switch to long range, and that was always fluent. And I think what I've seen, I mean, again, it's always hard to tell how combat really feels unless you've played it. Does it really feel impactful and so on? But what I've seen, I'm happy. I like what I've seen from the combat side of things.
Yeah.
And I know that this is gonna be a world that I will get lost in. The way how they set up
100%.
the entire thing. The humor was there, like it was typical Fable, yeah, where she walked into the cathedral of the heroes. And there was this one drunken guy that then just stood up and took a piss within the cathedral, and things like that, right? Typical Fable. And so far, the more I see from the game, the more excited I get. And I mean, what did you think, dude?
Yeah, again, the more I see of it, the more excited I am. I literally just want to get my hands on it at this stage. Like, I am dying to play this game, and I will be completely invested in it when it comes out. Like, everything looks fantastic, and the more we see of it, the better it looks.
Yeah.
I think someone, I've forgotten who said actually it was probably a good job that they'd pushed it back because it's clearly done the world of good. It just looks better and better every time we see it.
Yeah. I agree. No, Fable's gonna be awesome. And I actually really do like these kind of walkthroughs where they show continued gameplay for 18 minutes straight and then have this these comments along with it, right? That explain what is happening. But I think that is a really, really good way to show off games. So yeah, Fable gonna be awesome, man. Gonna be awesome.
Yes, it is.
You know what else is awesome? The Xbox announcement of disc to digital.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of idiots on the timeline. However, just not.
You want to get straight to the idiots.
Yes, I want to get straight to the idiots because these same people who are just like, I don't see a point in this because I want to just play my physical. This isn't stopping you playing the physical. This is just saying you no longer need to insert your disc if you don't want to. Once you've inserted it, it attributes the license that is on the disc to your account. And then you can play it without the disc. You still own the disc. You can still use the disc. If you want to put the disc in, feel free to put the disc in. But you don't need to anymore. If you want to lend it to somebody, then it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
The license goes to them. They can play it. They don't need to put the disc in to play it. If anything, this is preserving the disc more because it prevents it getting scratched to death, taking it in and out of cases and putting it away every 2 seconds. But also, then when they give you the disc back and you want to play it and they're finished with it, you just put the disc back in and the license reattributes to you again.
Yep.
It's really that simple. It's so straightforward, and it's like, I don't, they want to take away my physical. That's not what they're doing. What they're helping you do is preserve the games for going forward. Yep. The next generation from PlayStation and Xbox is going to be all digital. The
Absolutely.
way to preserve your account, all of your physical games and your digital games, is to be able to digitize those licenses to your account so that you still have the physical collection. It's there, but you can play it on the next gen console that will not have a disk drive. You just simply attribute your discs to your account. Nice and easy. I don't understand why people are getting upset by that.
I can tell you why people get upset about that. But I first want to take a step back. So Xbox announced this. It has been long rumored, right? The different leakers have put that out, Jess Corden and whatnot, and it was finally announced. For Xbox One and Xbox Series X games, they said thousands of games are supported. They will add more to that in the future. I've also seen Jason Ronald being asked directly, what about 360 games? And he was just like, yeah, we have nothing to announce here just yet. So depends. We shall see if this will also go back to older 360 or even OG Xbox games in the future.
Again, it's literally just down to licenses.
Yeah.
And being able to attribute them, because the only ones I really need to put on are Crisis Core, Final Fantasy 13 and 13-2, Diablo 3, and Elder Scrolls Online. That's it.
That's about it. Yeah, well, I don't have.
That is my physical collection.
Yeah, I don't have any physical games anymore. So I don't. For me personally, it doesn't change anything. I'm all digital ever since the 360 generation. For 15 years now or so, I have been all digital. So I'm personally, this isn't for me. Yeah?
Yeah.
With that said, I think it's a great program because it helps preserve games. Like you said, and that's also the fact why people get so mad is the next generation is going to be digital only. There is no way that the next Xbox is going to come with a disk drive. It could very well be, and we'll touch upon that in a second, that they will have an external version, an external disk drive. And
I don't even think we'll do that.
Honestly, see, my thing here is, and we'll get to what Asha had to say about that this week, but my thing is, we all know the next Xbox is going to be basically a Windows PC. Yeah, with the nice Xbox mode overlay and everything, but it runs Windows. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Windows today supports dozens upon dozens of different kinds of external drives. I don't think they will need to make an Xbox branded external drive that they then sell to you. They have all the drivers already ready under Windows. And with that, of course, on Project Helix, because Project Helix runs Windows. And so you will be able to plug in any random ass external drive that you plug in into Windows today. You can also plug in into Helix. So I doubt that there will be a dedicated Xbox branded disk drive, similar like with Sony. They have that, right? For their PS5 Pro, for instance, you can buy an external disk drive, but you have to buy this particular one from Sony. I don't think that Xbox is going to do that, because let's face it, the harsh reality is you cannot buy those drives anymore. There is barely any manufacturer out there, and I doubt, I mean, if Xbox comes to any disk drive manufacturer, they go to Samsung and say, hey, do you want to guys make an external Xbox branded disk drive for us that we then sell to our customers for $100 or whatnot? Samsung will say, for what? For the couple of 100,000 disk drives that you will sell? Because let's face it, how many people will buy an external disk drive? If it's a million, it's a lot. If they will sell over the lifetime of 7-8 years, they will not even sell 1 million of those. And Samsung says, hey, screw this. This is 1 million pieces is a day's production. We are not building up a fab and having support for this hard drive for these few numbers. So it will be really challenging to find any disk drive manufacturer in the year 27 and beyond.
I've seen another funny thing as well, actually, was another comment I've seen was, well, why don't they just give us on-demand choice to have a physical, so they don't ship physical, but you can choose to buy physical and then they print it on demand. I'm like, because that doesn't work that way. The reason physical is as cheap as it is at the moment, and it isn't cheap, the reason physical is as cheap as it is because they're mass manufacturing them.
Yeah.
If you were to print on demand for 10, 15 people that bought a physical disc, 100,000 people even if you bought a physical disc, the price would be based on a per unit basis, not based on 100,000 people.
Yeah, exactly. And
individual orders, and it would cost fortunes to do it.
Yeah, that's what people really don't understand. And that's why a lot of people got mad about this disc to digital thing, is because people were out there saying, well, this is the Xbox way of telling you that they are killing physical. And yes, they are killing physical. There is no reason on no logic way to support physical in the future, in the year 28, 29, 2030. There is no physical anymore. Yeah. This society has moved beyond these big plastic boxes and the discs. Nobody complains about it in movies. Nobody complains about this in music and so on. And here in gaming, they say this digital, and this is what a lot of people do not understand, is one way from Xbox to preserve games, to support backwards compatibility, because there's no other console manufacturer, not Sony, not Nintendo, that has done so much for backwards compatibility. I mean, hell, you can go back and play OG Xbox games on your Xbox Series X. Yeah, try playing I don't know, a Super Nintendo game or an N64 game on your Switch 2, or a OG PlayStation game on your PS5. No other company has done that much for game preservation and backwards compatibility, and the disc to digital is of course a thing for those collectors, that they are not losing the access to their games. That's why they are doing this. It's a feature for backward compatibility, because yes, the next Xbox is going to be a digital only Xbox. And let me be real here. I hope that they are not doing a weird ass move to find a way to put a disk drive in there. I hope that, because 90% of the gamers are not using the disk drive anymore in the 2030s. That's not going to happen. But the few, let's say the 10% of gamers that might occasionally buy a physical game, right? 90% of the gamers would have to pay more for the console, so that the 10% of gamers can occasionally buy a disc game. And that wouldn't be fair. So my serious guess is, and this is, I don't think you will have no option to play physical on the Helix. I still firmly believe if it runs under Windows, there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to plug in any random ass external disk drive, USB disk drive that you have today for your PC, why you shouldn't be able to use that as well on the Xbox Helix. There's no reason for that. And Asha actually gave it
only their security.
Yeah, but that's a software solution.
It'd have to be licensed for Xbox. It'd have to be licensed for Xbox.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It does not. The games have to be licensed, not the disk drive.
No.
The disk drive will just work. The game's licensed, but that's something they have already figured out through backward compatibility. There is absolutely no barrier to this. The same games that work on disk today on the Helix, on the Series X, will work on the Helix with any random ass external drive. And there was a BBC interview this week that BBC did with Asha at Gamescom, and she was asked about that. And Asha had to say the following: I know players love physical media, and I know there's a lot of benefits in digital media, and I want to make sure people have a choice. There are stacks of games on everybody's shelves, and that's why we are announcing the ability for players for 1,000 titles, blah, 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 blah. And this particular sentence, I know players love physical media, and I know there's a lot of benefits in digital media, and I want to make sure people have a choice. That to me suggests that they are definitely thinking about a solution for physical games on Helix. Will that be an included disk drive? Absolutely not. I cannot see that. They cannot be that stupid. But again, an external drive, and not even an Xbox branded external drive. Just your random Samsung, Sony, whatever external disk drives you have will be able to be used on the Helix. That's it.
See.
Yeah, we shall see.
We'll see.
We shall see. I mean, we gotta give Asha one thing, right? Over the last, I want to say, 5 years of Phil's reign and Phil as the CEO, we've heard so many times, oh yeah, we are listening, we hear you, and they never did. In the 6 months or whatnot that Asha is now in charge, it does feel that they are listening again. From little things like small updates on the system level, to getting rid of this is an Xbox ad, to removing logos from trailers. This is all feedback that they have received and picked up, actually, right? There's no PlayStation logo anymore on the latest Fable trailer. Just gone. Stuff like that. And so if she says something like that, yeah, I know people love physical. It's also hard for me to imagine that there will not be a solution to have in any way, shape, or form your physical discs be playable. Does that mean that they will be making new games into physical? No, that does not mean that. I firmly believe that Xbox will do the exact same thing than Sony does, and starting with 28 or so, there will be no physical games anymore. But at least with an external drive, you can play the stuff you already have in physical. All right, Dutch. Anything you want to add to that, or?
No. Like I say, it's just mind blowing how thick the physical crowd are, considering physical sales have dropped again this quarter to the lowest point ever.
True.
So much for their keep physical mentality. Yeah. You would think they'd go out and actually physically buy brand new physical games, but they don't.
Asha had a lot more to say in this interview. She was asked about the Project Helix prize. She had to say the following. This next generation, we have to be thinking about efficiency and affordability alongside performance. As an industry, we are in the middle of the rampocalypse. All of the industry needs to start to innovate on affordability and efficiency. That is something that we have not had to do previously. But with the crisis that's currently happening in hardware and components, it is absolutely something all of us need to be thinking about and innovating on on and giving people more choice in terms of how they play their console and how they purchase their console. I mean, obviously, the price discussion for Project Helix is also very speculative right now because nobody really knows what kind of hardware we are talking about, right? We know it has the Magnus chip, but we really don't know what the Magnus chip is. Yeah, we know a few things. It will support an NPU, but hey, it hasn't even been confirmed that it is RDNA 5 or UDNA. Has not been confirmed. I know there are a couple of YouTubers out there that claim that, but no, it hasn't. Nothing has been confirmed. Is it Zen 5? Is it Zen 6? We don't know. So the hardware price speculation is really weird. We don't know what kind of RAM we are looking at. How much RAM we are looking at. Are we talking 24 gigs? Are we talking 32 gigs? Whatever. We don't know. Nevertheless, I found that statement very interesting. That blah blah blah. We have to innovate and giving people more choice in how they play their console and how they purchase their console. And I wanted to talk to you about that real quick, because yeah, we could all sit here and of course everything sounds like the PS6 will cost at least $1,000, and I mean the Series X is already at 800. The 25th anniversary console is at 900 euros. So yeah, most likely Helix is also going to be $1,000. But what is interesting to me is that she says, well, we need to innovate on things like how people purchase their console. And listen, that first thing that popped into my head is when I heard that or read that, hey, is Xbox doing something like cell phone companies have been doing or selling their phones in the past, where you get like, okay, if you take this 24-month contract, you get the console for free. Is Xbox going to do something like that? Because what else could they do in terms of how or change how people buy their consoles? Other than, for instance, they are selling you you sign a contract, something like, okay, you sign up for Gamepass for 2 or 3 years, Gamepass Ultimate, and with that you get the console for $300 or something like that. You know what I mean?
I think they'll just continue to do the financing plan where you can do the whole upgrade in a couple of years.
Yeah, but it's no innovation. We already have that, and
Nope.
not just from Xbox, even in local stores. You can purchase your Xbox Series X on Amazon on a rate, and then pay $50 a month until it's paid off. Right? That's really not innovating. That's nothing new. That we already have that, and people don't. But to have something like, okay, we are binding you to Game Pass Ultimate, like for, I don't know, 3 years or 2 years. Yeah, you will have to sign up for that monthly purchase of $20 Game Pass Ultimate, but then you get the console for $500 less or so. You know what I mean? Something like that.
We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to be, I mean, they're going to have to try and figure out a way of making it slightly affordable.
Yeah.
Because we all know it's going to be in the 1,000 mark range or close to.
Yeah. True. Yeah. We know that. And it is, yeah. It is something. How do I phrase that properly that people don't misunderstand me? For hardcore gamers like us, it's probably not a big deal. Or it is a big deal because, of course, I would rather have a console for $500 than for $1,000. But if I get a proper hardware with it. 32 gigs of RAM, and I get a really mid-class GPU, not a low-tier GPU, and I get a good CPU along with it. I'm actually willing to pay even 1500s because I'm a hardcore gamer. That's the thing. I play my Xbox on a daily basis. There's barely any days I'm not playing my Xbox. And I do use that console then for 7 or 8 years or however long that generation goes. So doing a one-time purchase of, let's say, $1,200, yeah, within 8 years for a device that brings me joy every day for thousands of hours, I'm okay with that. The problem is the casual market, the mass market. There's barely anyone out there that is going to buy an Xbox for $1,000 and a PlayStation for that matter, right? Just to play occasionally Call of Duty and FIFA. People have done that at $500. You buy a console and you're good for the next 7-8 years, and then you play your FIFA and your Fortnite and your Call of Duty, and that's it.
Yeah.
But are people willing to invest $1,000, $1,200? No. So they have to find a way to sell that thing to the mass market.
It's either that or people will just be super late to adopt. That's not helped them this gen because the price of things just continue to go up.
Yes.
And not come down for the first time ever.
And I think it would be the wrong bet to place that prices will come down. Because even if
of course, but this is the issue with the casual market, though, isn't it? Yeah. Casual market always don't know the issues surrounding it.
Yeah.
So they'll just think, I can't afford that right now, so I'll wait a year or so when the prices have come down. And that's because they're so disconnected from what's actually happening in technology and gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I think one of the issues is super late adoption. Super late adoption where people need a really big reason to get the next generation game. And I think part of the issue is to start off the next generation, especially with the games wise, you're not launching with a GTA.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only zeitgeist kind of game that will get people to adopt a brand new
Elder
console.
Scrolls.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But even Elder Scrolls isn't in line with a GTA.
No.
If they
that's not the same level, but it is the best shot that they have. Because
for Xbox, yeah. I just mean in general, because when we're talking about console prices as well, Xbox is going to be close to that 1,000. PlayStation absolutely will be the same ballpark.
Yeah.
So in general, the consensus will be from the casuals, I'll just wait. And because there isn't like a zeitgeist game like a GTA hitting that next generation console as a collective, for the casuals, because the casuals, yes, Elder Scrolls is massive, but for the super casuals, that's not like a zeitgeist game.
Yeah.
Like a GTA.
But it's
and the
again,
only
for
other
Xbox,
one,
it's
the
the closest
only
that they have to that, because Skyrim.
The only other one I can think, but even then, that's ultimately been shelved for God knows how long, is a Red Dead.
Yeah, but even I would say Red Dead is in a similar ballpark like in Elder Scrolls. Yeah, it has not the same impact like a GTA, where it's a super mass pop cultural thing. But it is still a bit more than just the normies look at a Red Dead, and they look also at the Elder Scrolls, because Skyrim was the same. Yeah, Skyrim was.
And then the only other route both manufacturers can take in order to literally force people to get the consoles is an immediate cut-off of backwards compatibility games. So launching with this console, these games are only going to be released on this console.
Yeah.
They're not going to release on the previous.
Cut off cross-gen. But that is a super expensive endeavor, because you know how much, and let's stick with the example of Elder Scrolls. You know how much Elder Scrolls 6 will cost in making. And if you have that only then released on next gen and not support cross-gen, it will be financially a really, really tough thing to get greenlit. So yeah, it will be interesting. I'm still sticking with, hey, if the situation is like it is, do the same like you've done this gen. Offer 2 different SKUs. You have a PC anyway. You do not. The problem with the Series S was that it is a dedicated build that developers had to make, right? And you can argue all day long. At the end of the day, it's double the work. They don't have to optimize just for the Series X. They also have to optimize for the Series S. Helix should, in theory, solve that, because it is a Windows-based console. It will run the PC versions of the games. Developers will not make dedicated console versions anymore. They will make a PC game and then ship it on low settings on the one device and on high settings on the other device. So make 2 SKUs again and put them pricely further apart than they did it this gen. Because the Series X launched at 500 and the Series S at 300. And with that, they were so close together that a lot of people were just like, hey, screw these $200, I'm getting the big one. But if you make a $1,200 console and a $500 or $600 console, that's really 2 different audiences that you target. And then you have a low tier spec, 16 gigs of RAM, a small APU. It will run games at 1080p to 1440p.
I think that's being generous. I think that's being based on the alley. If they go down the route of having like the massive discrepancy on how good games can perform on the base alley versus the Xbox Alley X, as the differentiate, because again, if it's PC based,
I know what you mean.
It's not a refined console version of a game. Then it's not optimized to the same degree. We know what Xbox are like with their fucking optimization on PC games.
I mean, that's a totally different debate, that they have to better optimize their games for PC on Windows anyway.
Hurry the fuck up then. It's like going down the route of a different
discussion,
game.
Right? The thing is, a 2 SKU that is further apart than the Series X and S were at a price delta of $200.
I would say the lower SKU then would have to be closer to 800, whilst the other one was 1200.
Oh, you have to have something in the 500 to 600 euro range.
I can't see that working with a PC-based console.
It'll be challenging. I'm not saying it's easy.
Challenging is an understatement.
Yeah.
In terms of the performance you would get on a PC-based console for 500, 600, it would be terrible to say the least.
Yeah, but you shall not forget that they don't have to make money off of the console or the hardware sale. It's you cannot compare it to a pre-built PC today.
But you would have to if it was PC based.
Yes, you would have to, but that's why I'm saying you should better compare that to what is a pre-built PC today in the price range of, let's say, 800 to 900 euros. They can sell that at 600 because they don't have to make the money off of the hardware itself. And of course, that is also in general a debate they have to take. How much can we subsidize the hardware in the future, right? with
Are
Helix.
they willing to subsidize at all?
Yeah. It's a general question they have to answer themselves. Because it's always easy for us to say, hey, subsidize the hardware, and because you're making the money back with game sales. And that is fairly true for us hardcore gamers that do buy 20, 30, 40 games a year. For those gamers, you can subsidize. You can subsidize 300 euros and you make that back in a year. Right?
Yeah.
But again, most gamers do not purchase that many games. And if you subsidize a console, let's say for $200 in hardware, which is really a lot.
It is a significant amount. If you sold 20 consoles and made a $200 loss on it, that's $4 billion.
And you said exactly, yeah. And the thing is, Xbox sells a Ubisoft game in their storefront, and they get a 20% cut. Yeah, so they're making, I don't know, $15 or so. Just for the sake of argument, you're making $15 per sold game. You need to sell 13 games to a gamer before you break even. If you subsidize the console for $200. And that might not sound a lot to us here, because hey, 13 games, that's
but me and you know
3 months
of casuals that barely buy 13 games in the entire generation.
Exactly.
They might buy 1 or 2 a year. Might. And that's usually a sports game or a GTA or something like that.
Yeah. So even people buy a console to play Fortnite. Then they play Fortnite all day long. You have those gamers out there, right?
Yeah.
Or like you said, maybe one other game. And then exactly, that means that the other console guy, you Dutch, you have not to buy 13, you have to buy 26 games for them to make the money back. And then it becomes really like, so subsidizing the hardware, hard. The question is, how much do they need to make off? I don't think they are going to subsidize the hardware per se. I think they are maybe being able to sell the console for its cost. Right?
Yep. 100%. I don't think they'll subsidize it. I think it has to be cost price.
All right, Dutch, let's move on. Let's get to the community questions of the week.
Yes.
Each and every Wednesday, you guys can write in questions or topics you would like us to discuss. We put up posts on all the social channels. We don't hide them behind any paywall, so no Patreon or channel member subscription needed. Everyone can write in, and the first question comes in from Ironclaw Gaming this week. And he asks, some people are claiming disc to digital transfer means Xbox is killing physical media. I believe differently. But what do you guys believe? So I think we've talked about this, Dutch.
Yep, covered that. And no, absolutely, it isn't. It's what it's doing is providing another avenue to preserve games.
And yes, they are killing physical. Future. They are killing physical.
Of course they are.
Elder Scrolls 6 will not release on disc. It will not.
What they're doing is providing a way to preserve the games that you have on physical.
Exactly. That's what this is about.
In terms of physical media in the future, it is dead.
Absolutely.
Dead.
It's
already dead. You just have to get used to the fact that going forward, whenever the next console generation launches, there is no more physical media.
Yeah, true. Rave Demos writes in and asks this. Is there anything more exciting than the Witcher news that was recently announced? Christmas arrives in September this year. No, there's not. There's nothing more exciting than the Witcher news.
No, if the only thing that would have been more exciting is if they said, surprise, Fable releases next month.
Yes.
But it doesn't.
So, yeah, you're right. The Witcher, absolutely the most exciting thing.
Until Boxy gets his Ocarina of Time remake release date.
Yeah, we shall see. We haven't heard anything. Do you still believe this comes out this year?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they've already said we're gonna have some like late summer. We're gonna talk about it more and show more of the game. So I expect that to be maybe sometime in, we're talking September-ish, that you'll have a Nintendo stream specifically for it.
For that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We shall see. I'm not sure about this year.
Oh yeah. Nintendo shareholders are pretty aggressive.
Yeah. Manho Lord writes in and asks, 25 years of Xbox has given us a lot of great games. What's the best Xbox game ever released in your opinion?
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. That's horrible.
First party we are talking here, I would assume. We are not talking about things like Oblivion, which was an Xbox game, right?
No. It's a toss-up between Gears 2, Halo Reach. I say Halo Reach is a complete side one, but Halo Reach had a really impactful story in comparison to the regular Halos.
Okay. Yeah, for me,
there's so many.
I'm a little torn here between, I would say, Fable 2 and Gears 2.
Yeah, Fable 2's up there. Why is it always 2?
Yeah.
I said Gears 2.
You could also put Gears 3
in
there. I also really like Gears 3.
I think Gears 2 was better than 3. I think we can probably just about agree on that. I think
Gears 3 is the better game, but Gears 2 impressed me more when it came, at the time it came out.
Yeah. Also had the slightly better story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fable 2 I agree with as well, but it's always the sequels. So Halo Reach, Gears 2, Fable 2. Ooh, what
Assassin's
else?
Creed 2, Halo 2, Forza Horizon 2, way better than Forza Horizon 1.
Psychonauts 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I absolutely adored Psychonauts
Assassin's
2
Creed
as well,
2.
by the way.
I mean, if you've got a good formula on your hands, right, you will not get everything right with the first one. And that's the charm of the second one, where you can, like, this worked, this didn't work, and here we need to improve, and then you nail it.
We've got the nostalgia of the first games, and we still love the first ones, but they've got you into the world, they've got the story going, and then they're more impactful as it goes on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, beyond that, of course, I think those were the most impactful games.
Yeah, for me personally as well. So, Rafe Demos sends in a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. And he says, is it really hard to believe that any disk drive will work with Helix? When PS5 accepts off-the-shelf SSD, I hope Helix will works with most any disk drives. Yeah, exactly my point.
It depends. The only reason I say this is there is a yes and no caveat here. If you were to replace the disk drive in the Xbox, it will work. And you can just replace it with another Blu-ray drive. If you needed to repair it and fix it, you can do that. However, plug and play is a different thing entirely, because Xbox have their made for Xbox segments where they kind of approve whoever builds it for them.
That's at the moment the case, because at the moment you have a dedicated OS. You have the Xbox OS. And you have dedicated GDKs and so on.
It's not just that, it's the security protocols that connect to the Xbox.
Everything that will be different when you have a Windows-based console. When you have a Windows-based console, you have all the drivers for all the external drives that are out there already ready. You can plug them in and they work. The question is, will you be able to read out the license? And I think the disk to digital thing comes into place heavily. It will probably not be the case that you will be able to play your games of let's say, a random ass Sony or Samsung external drive and play it off the drive per se, but you will be forced to bind that. What they will do is you will have to read out the license and you will be forced to add this to your digital library, then download the digital game. This way you can say, okay, we support physical still, but it's really not physical. If you're offline, it will not work because you have to once connect it to your account and then download. Because the actual game streaming and installing,
that makes buying the physical drive almost redundant.
Yes, but you can still claim, hey, we are supporting physical. That's the thing.
And as you mentioned before, who's going to mass produce these drives?
No. Yeah, that's then your problem. You, as a customer, need to see where you get a used USB drive off of eBay or something.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it will not be the same like today where you put in your disk and then you install the game from the disk. That will not be the case. But they will force you to use the disk to digital thing. You can use any random as USB drive for that. That's how I.
And also bad news for people who like watching 4K Blu-ray movies.
Yes.
Because I don't believe they'll have the ability to watch anything like that.
I don't know.
Even if
it's
you did
Windows.
buy an external drive.
Again, you have the Windows player that supports that. Why not use it? You have Windows on that Helix. That is the whole thing. Yeah. And everything that works on PC should be working on the console then as well. Hell, you will be able to, if you want to, you can install PowerPoint on there and do your presentations on the console.
Please don't do that, anybody.
It will happen.
Bring your Xbox to work day.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, sorry, I'm just closing Halo a second. That wasn't meant to be there.
Yeah. How awesome would that be? Let's get to the big bridge question of the week.
Go on then.
All right. He says, "Hello, Boxy and Dutch. I hope you have a great podcast, as always. Tough battles are worth remembering. They test your mettle, your cunning, and your resourcefulness, but they are an experience unlike any other. What's your toughest video game boss battle? Not necessarily a single foe. Have fun and a great week ahead." So, toughest video game boss battle. Oof. That's
anything from Elden Ring.
Yeah, I mean, Elden Ring had a few, definitely. But I wonder if that is just recency bias, because it's not.
No, I'm just shit. I'm just really shit at Souls games, so all of them were just absolutely nails and frustrating.
Yeah. I remember, I mean, this is also maybe an unfair answer because this is the toughest or hardest game I have ever played, was on the Super Nintendo, Super Ghouls and Ghosts. And that had a badass final boss battle. Boy, was that hard. That was so hard. I never beat that guy. But yeah, it's tough. Other than a Souls game, do you remember any tough boss fights outside of a Souls game?
Not ones that I remember now as being, oh my god, that was so hard. I am so glad that's finished. Final Fantasy 16 Rising Tide DLC final boss, pain in the fucking arse.
I mean,
because it had an invisible timer. I don't know whether or not you've played that DLC, but it had an invisible timer where it got to a certain section in the fight, and then it would just go rah, and that was it, dead. And if you hadn't killed them by that section where it wasn't like a specific timer, it was just you had to know the way that the fight was going.
Yeah.
And if you hadn't done something by a certain point, game over.
Yeah.
Pain in the fucking arse.
I remember I mean, it's also fairly recently. Hollow Knight had a
Also,
couple of
not specifically a hard one, but a very long one, and this is on YouTube as being one of the most difficult in Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 15 Adamantoise.
Which one was that?
It was
the one in the final city.
No. It was an optional super boss that was in the open world. That was a mountain, and it stood up. And it was actually an old turtle.
Yeah.
And that thing took literally hours because it was like no matter how much
I never
high
beat that guy.
I
was so frustrated because the fight took like an
forever.
hour.
I was level 99 and it took 3 hours.
Yeah. I remember, like, well, it wasn't really a boss per se, but in Ori of the Blind Forest, when you got to that segment where you had to rush up the tree, that was also like.
And I also think we also have to give a shout out to the original super bosses on the old Final Fantasy VII, the weapons.
Yeah.
Ruby, Emerald, etc.
I mean, if you go back to like really old games like Final Fantasy VII, or even further back, like I said, to Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and I mean games, Golden Axe. Listen, all those games were so hard and challenging compared to what we are used to now. You can bring up a whole retro.
But there was a reason behind it back then. The reason behind it back then was to elongate the playtime.
Yeah, absolutely. You could finish.
Like let's make this final boss like super hard.
Yeah.
So that you can't finish the game, or if you do finish the game, it's like you feel like you've achieved something. Because the game in itself wasn't long.
The game in itself, like even if you go back to things like Super Mario Land on the Game Boy,
or even the original Battletoads,
or Battletoads, right? Super short games. The original Battletoad, I think you can finish it in 20 minutes, right? Yeah. But because it was so challenging, it took you hours upon hours upon hours.
Yeah. Yeah, they intentionally don't make games like they used to.
Yeah. I think that's why the Souls games are so well received, because it brings people back to the time when video games were actually really challenging.
Yeah, and the reason it benefited all of us old folky is because it showed you resilience. It showed you determination.
And I realized that with my kids, they don't have that anymore. Honestly, it's really tough to teach them.
Taught you patience. Back then, you had to have patience because games were hard as nails, and if you messed up, game over.
Game over.
There was no refresh. There was no save point. It was just start game.
You had to fight through because you had no alternative option. I've been trying to get my kids into some of the retro games, some of the games I grew up with, because I still feel like some of those are just so good in introducing you to video games, right? My 8-year-old can be really overwhelmed with some of the more modern games, because there are so many mechanics in there and things, right? And so I gave him Zelda: Link to the Past, right? Pretty simple, but I can already tell he doesn't have the and it's not like a super hard game from the Super Nintendo era, right? But it's already like he's so frustrated, and now I'd rather go back and play Minecraft because I can't die in there, and then or play some of the Lego games because, well, easy as fuck, right? And the resilience to teach that to the kids of today, when they have the alternatives. We didn't have the option. It was either you play the tough ass and hard video games, or you don't play video games at all. And let's face it, that is not an option. But if we had the option to play easy video games at the time, rather than the difficult ones, we would all have also gone to the easy ones, right?
Yep.
All right, Dutch. Let's wrap this podcast up. It has been a blast. As always, I want to say a big thank you to everyone who joined us here live today. I know the big GTA thing has been going on in parallel, so awesome of you guys to hang out. Next week, there won't be a podcast. I'll be in Italy at the beach, eating pizza, playing video games on the alley, reading good books, playing with the kids. So we will be back, hopefully in 2 weeks. I'm not 100% sure if I can make the Thursday, because that's the day we get back. But maybe we then just do a weekend show or something. So yeah, again, a big thank you. It has been an awesome week for gaming. Go play some games. There's plenty to play. And we hope to see you guys in 2 weeks. Dutch, do you want to address anything before we let everyone out of here?
No. Again, everybody go and enjoy the GTA trailer if you haven't already seen it, or gameplay footage, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah. All right. Guys, then all is set. Thanks again for watching. We see you the next time, and don't forget to game on.